Hello and welcome to today's video, which is going to be a products I regret buying video. I haven't done many of these on my channel. I've done two others and they are quite old. I try to be very careful with my purchases so that I don't end up with products that I regret, but sometimes it just does not work out. We don't all have the same skin types or preferences, and yeah, not everything is going to be amazing to everyone. Most of these products I will say are good products. They're not terrible. But some of them I maybe bought for the wrong reason, or they weren't quite as amazing as I hoped they would be. Personally, I find these videos very helpful, especially when people say why they regret buying that certain product. And sometimes I've even bought products that other people regretted because I have different preferences than them. So personally, I find these very helpful, and let's get into it. First up is a product I actually do like, and I think it's a good product, but the reason I regret buying it is just that it's something I have used so rarely. I've not gotten my money's worth, and that is this blush by Decay, and it is in the color Bitter Sweet. So this is a really intense purple blush, and I am wearing pretty intense pink blush today, which I do like, but an intense purple blush, it's not something I'm gonna use a lot. And I've probably worn this maybe 10 times ever, and I've had it for I think 3 years. So yeah, the reason I bought it was that this was so talked about on YouTube. People were like, oh, this is such a cool, unique color. There aren't many purple blushes out there. Well, yeah, there aren't that many purple blushes out there, but not a lot of us are going to wear purple blush on a regular basis. However, when I use it, it is beautiful and I like it. What I should have done is to buy a more drugstore affordable blush in such an intense color, because then if I wasn't using it that often, I wouldn't feel as bad about it. But this is a high-end blush. I think I got it full price. I don't even remember. I've had it for so long. It's a beautiful color and it's a beautiful formula, but I think for something I'm going to use this rarely, I wish I had not spent this much money on it. Next up is one I know that I have talked about a few times, and that is this LC highlighter. This is in Pearly Glaze. And this is a one that, again, this is a good product. It's a nice highlighter. I mean, it's a champagne highlighter. It's not anything that amazing. The reason I regret it is that this is pretty expensive. It's close to $40, and I don't think the formula is as good as I would like it to be for that price tag. Now, I do like some expensive highlighters like Ofra. Those are up there. They're 30-something dollars, but they have a very intense formula, but it is very finely milled. It lasts all day on the face. I think that formula is worth it. And so are some other kind of high-end highlighters that I have. But this, it's a little chalky. It's a little powdery on the face. It looks okay, not amazing. If this was $20, yes, I would say this is amazing, absolutely worth it. But for this high price tag, I just expected the formula to wow me a little bit more. And I'm okay with paying this much for something if I'm truly gonna love it and use it, but I find this to just be a mediocre product with a really high price tag. This setting spray I talked about in my year-long makeup empties. I had this one and another one by Fourth Ray Beauty. This one was the Mellow Milk, and clearly I used this whole thing up, but this I actually really disliked. I probably should not have even used these, because both of the sprays that I have, they almost irritated my eyes a little bit, and it wasn't severe. If it had been severe, I definitely would have stopped using it, but it just made my eyes burn just a tiny bit at first when I used it, and even my skin, I don't know, it just didn't feel great. I did end up using this to foil eyeshadows, and that did not cause me any irritation, so it was fine. But honestly, I really regret getting this one and the other one that I had. I think I had the vitamin C one. I don't know what's up with these. They were just not good. I did not like the effect on the skin. I didn't like that slight irritation that I had. Yeah, there are some amazing setting sprays out there, high-end and drugstore. I mean, the e.l.f. one, I talk about that one so much. It's amazing. It causes me no issues. So yeah, this one from Fourth Ray Beauty, and then the vitamin C one, I really disliked. Then we have this. This is the ColourPop Blush Stix. Again, this is a product that is good. It's just not amazing. This is a cream blush. And my issue with it is, first of all, I am not a huge cream blush person. I don't use cream blush all that often. But when I do use this, it's also a little difficult to blend. And I do have one other cream blush. I find the formula to be better on that one and easier to work with. This formula is a little bit stiff and dry, and it's been like that ever since I bought it. So it's partly because I'm not a huge cream blush person, but even when I do use this, it's not my favorite cream blush formula that I've tried. You know, it's definitely doable. I can blend it out. It's a really pretty color. This one is called Pretty Thing. So when I wear it, I like it. It just takes a while to apply and to blend out. Yeah, just not the easiest to work with. So yeah, this one I definitely regret. And I just don't use cream blush, and I don't use cream highlighter that much. Liquid highlighter I do use, and I do like that one. So I'm trying to keep my preferences in mind. That's kind of what I'm trying to show here. Trying to remember, hey, I don't like that type of product. I should not be buying it. I think it's really important to learn what we like and what we enjoy, and then the things that we don't buy anymore. Next up is this tiny little palette by e.l.f. This is the bite-sized palette. This is the jalapeno one. Now, this is good. It's not an amazing formula, but it's definitely not bad. I like it. I've used it several times. The reason I regret getting this is that I got this and two of the other e.l.f. bite-sized palettes when they came out. I don't even remember when that was, maybe a year ago, something like that. You know, everybody was talking about them. They're only $3, so I bought 3 of them. I've already decluttered the other 2 because they were mediocre, and I just never reached for them. So it's not that this product is bad, but I have so many amazing eyeshadow palettes that I absolutely love that I reach for more. I also am not a huge mini palette person. They kind of tend to get lost in my collection, and yeah, it's not a me product. I don't reach for mini palettes a lot, but even for $3, I mean, the formula is definitely not bad, but it's not amazing. I have better formulas, and even though I only spent $3, honestly, I'd rather have my $3 back than have an eyeshadow palette that I rarely use sitting around. So this is more of a me problem. It's not anything wrong with this palette. It's just not my personal preference, and I'd rather use other green eyeshadows that I have in my collection that I prefer over this one. So sadly, I'm probably gonna end up decluttering this too, like I did with the other ones. So that's something else that I've noticed. Sometimes I buy stuff just because it's exciting and it's cheap and new. It's only $3. Wow, people were raving about them, but that doesn't mean I should buy it. You know, I don't know. And I love a lot of e.l.f. products, I do, but their eyeshadows are probably something that I'm least into. But I will say, I did buy the Retro Paradise palette, and I actually really love that one. It's very, very good. I think the formula is one of the best from e.l.f. that I've tried. So that one I don't regret getting at all. Plus there's more colors in it. I feel like I can do more looks. This is, you know, a small little monochromatic palette, so there aren't a million looks that I could do with this either. So I think the lesson here is I shouldn't buy something just because it's cheap or that other people think it's good. You know, I need to really keep my preferences in mind and not end up with things like this that, yeah, I'm probably gonna end up decluttering this at some point. The next thing on this list, I got a Shayne Cosmetics face palette set. This is a really cheap brand. I mean, it's kind of like Coastal Scents, very, very inexpensive. They have a lot of different palettes and things like that. I got a set, I think it was 5 different face palettes. And it's only like $25, not very expensive. The reason I ended up regretting this is that it ended up being a little bit wasteful. So I got rid of a few of them. I did donate them. This one I like. So this is the contour palette, and I actually think these powders are really nice. I have the Anastasia contour palette, and I think this is a better formula. It's more finely milled. It is a little bit powdery, but I do like these for contouring, and I like these to kind of brighten up the under eye. So I do like that one. And then also there were several blush palettes. Now I did a declutter video a couple months ago where I ended up donating, I think, 2 of the face palettes because they were so repetitive. So this is a really, really intense pinks and purples, and then there is one that is more neutral, but then there was another one that had so many repeat shades. It was like the 3rd blush palette had all the same colors that were in this one and the other one that I kept. So that one I ended up donating before I ever even used it. And then there was also a concealer palette, which I liked that one at first, but unfortunately those dried up to where they were unusable after about 3 months. So that ended up being wasteful because I had to throw away. It was not salvageable at all. So I have kept this one of the other blush palettes, and then the contour one. So I do enjoy the three that I kept, but there were so many repeat shades, and then that concealer palette completely dried up to the point where it was not usable. You know, not a total fail, but I don't know. I don't like to buy something so big and bulky where then half the palettes, you know, are going to end up being not usable. So, I mean, it wasn't a total fail. I was able to donate the unused palette, but the concealer palette seemed to have expired rather quickly. These are great though, and I do like them. You know, so money-wise, it probably was worth it for $25 to end up with 3 face palettes that I do enjoy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like to buy big sets like this where I'm going to end up not using half the items. The last product on this list is an eyeshadow palette that I know I've talked about this a lot because I put this in my bottom 5 palettes video. It's the Nabla Coral Cutie. Now, this is a good formula. I enjoy this formula, and I put this in one of my project pans to get more use out of it because, again, I like the formula. The reason I regret getting this was that I actually wanted to buy one of the larger Nabla palettes, and at the last minute, I cheaped out and I got one of the small ones because people were raving about these. And it's really, the color story is just not as intriguing to me. What I should have done is just gotten the one that I really wanted. And that is something I'm really trying to keep in mind. Kind of like with the e.l.f. palette, I got it because it was cheap and new and exciting. If something is more expensive, but I really, really want it, I would rather pay more for something I'm going to use more. I'm trying really hard not to buy things just because they're cheaper or on sale or, you know, super inexpensive. I want to buy things I'm gonna use regardless of the price. So I'm at the point where I'd rather pay more for something I really want than end up with this, which this is not a cheap product, by the way. This palette was around $26, and the full price, or the full size one that I really wanted, was about $40. I mean, I saved less than $20, but I ended up with a palette I don't use all that much. It doesn't make much sense, really. I should have just gotten the larger palette, which was the one that I wanted. So again, I'm really trying to keep these things in mind. I don't want to buy something cheaper and then end up with it just sitting there and being unused. So I'm really, really, really trying to keep that in mind. Again, this is a good palette, and I'm going to try to get use out of it this year. And I've used it lately, I gotta say. I mean, it's a nice formula. This dark matte brown here, I have a little bit of this on my lower lash line today. It's a good formula, it really is. So I'm hoping the more I use this, I'll fall in love with it. But, you know, from now on, if there's something I really, really want, I should just get it. Otherwise, I don't want to go shopping around for an alternative because that just ends up being wasteful and not very cost effective in the end. Alrighty, that is it for this video. Please let us know some products that you regret buying. I'm really, really curious. And yeah, I'm just trying to make smarter purchases. You know, I'm on a low buy anyway, but I just want to make sure I'm putting thought into my purchases and I'm not just buying something, you know, for the wrong reasons, basically. I will say nothing in this video is truly, truly bad, except these 4th Ray sprays. Honestly, I strongly disliked those. I would not recommend them, but the rest of the products are good products. They're just, you know, wrong for me depending on the reasons. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.